I think it has been restored, and I think I would just draw the distinction between different parts of MENA because it's obviously a huge area, and I would distinguish between oil exporting countries and oil importing countries. I think in terms of the oil importing countries, they've been through more turmoil, places like Tunisia and Egypt, and for them confidence has dipped more and they've got further to come back, and there are a number of tangible signs of that being the case. And I think that their prospects are actually quite encouraging post events, should we say, where the steps which have been taken by the various governments to open the economies, I think, are very helpful. In terms of the oil exporting countries, they've been affected, obviously, but much less so, especially with a high oil price. And I would describe what they've been through as more of a blip than anything else. And if you look at places like the UAE, for example, where a number of anecdotal examples of booming confidence, whether it's real estate prices going up or hotels being full or whatever way you want to look at it. I think confidence in the UAE is very high. I would say that generally speaking, confidence in the GCC is very high as well. Places like Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, where there's a construction boom going on in a number of those countries. So I think it is back, absolutely. I think there are a number of them. I mean, chiefly among them is just sheer economic growth. I think the IMF produced a study saying that over the next 2 years, the MENA region is expected to grow 4.7%, which is obviously very high in absolute terms, but it's also high relative to other emerging markets. Clearly much higher than Europe or the US, but compared to its peers, if you like, in terms of emerging markets, it's higher than places like Brazil, for example, or Mexico, or Korea, or Russia. So whether you look at things in absolute terms or relative terms, I think MENA the growth prospects economically are quite substantial. I think the other positive driver for MENA is population, whether it's absolute population, but also the makeup of the population, which is typically quite young. And that high population is driving demand for more education, more healthcare, and other sort of associated sectors, but also an emerging middle class coming through with also higher expectations in terms of transport, power, retail, and so on. So I think those are two important factors, and I think thirdly the low tax environment of MENA, I think, is very helpful to. In the way that it attracts entrepreneurs to the region, that they're able to, in some cases, move from higher tax regions to set up shop, as it were, in the region and make the most of its central location. And this attraction that the low tax environment has for entrepreneurs, I think, is very helpful for the economy as a whole. I would say that we definitely haven't seen that at Gulf Credit Partners, which is the credit business of Gulf Capital. We've looked at about 200 deals over the last 18 months, which is a lot, obviously. We've closed 3, and we're in the process of closing 3 more. So from the fund's perspective, we're actually quite ahead of schedule for deployment of capital. So maybe it's because we're filling a void in the market which others aren't filling, and maybe it's because we're providing a service that entrepreneurs really need in order to finance their growth. But net, we're not short of deal flow and opportunities, quite the opposite.